Yes, it's the first Badminton Talk podcast of 2022. Mark Topping, how are you doing?
Good morning, John Noble. I'm doing pretty good. I'm in good form. What about yourself?
Yeah, no, I'm in really good form. It's nice to actually, when you look out the window and you see a little bit of the, maybe this kind of give a feeling to how we all feel at this time of year. You kind of get the buzz of this.
Spring?
Yeah. We're out of COVID, Mark. We're getting out there.
Yeah, it looks like we are. Gradually, we're getting to learn to live with COVID. We're getting more normal again. The league matches are back in Dublin District League.
Yes, the league match. Sorry, Mark, I will reduce the sounds down. Here Comes the Sun from, of course, we know the Beatles. But yes, Mark, league is coming back, yes?
Yeah, I've been playing, I've had 2 league matches already with South Dublin Badminton Club, and it's all kicking off. The Dublin District League Committee on the Leinster branch have been hard at work and organising fixtures. So, all coming back, John. Badminton's starting to return to normal.
Yeah, and Mark, it was great just been up at the squad trials last weekend, watching all the players there, and we were able to spectate for the first time.
Oh,
come
brilliant.
in and watch the players hitting shuttlecocks. It was like Christmas all over. Just to be, rather than being in the car park or rather than at home, you could see all the players playing up in the National Indoor Arena. It's great to see, Mark, isn't it?
It is. It's wonderful to be coming back slowly but surely. It'll take a while, but it's just optimism is out there, John. We're getting there.
So optimism, the word Mark scribes. So today on the Badminton Talk podcast, which is the 4th of February 2022, this podcast will go out on Friday the 4th. And yes, we've decided on this particular podcast, Mark, we're not going to interview anyone on this one.
No, let's just
we've talked.
John.
We can. People haven't heard our voices in a while, Mark.
We've been off air for a while.
We've been off air. I've heard a few saying, "Thank God," but I'm sorry, we're back again.
I'm sure there are a few like that.
Yeah, well, thanks to the Q Gold, and by the way, just a big shout out, Mark. We have to thank all the clubs and players that are supporting that brand. It's nice to hear the feedback on a great durable product that seems to be coming across as really good value. So big shout out to the Q Shuttle. Yeah,
in particular to clubs. If you want to buy bulk, we will do the discount. If you purchase some bulk, so the recommended retail price of the Q Gold on our website is €25, but if you want to buy 50 dozen or more, I'm sure we can negotiate a much better price.
So Mark is saying you can wheel and deal with them, okay? But you need to have a little bit of volume, okay?
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so listen, that's the end of the commercial there. We shall move on. Today, Mark and myself want to talk about 4 things. I mean, we want to, first of all, there's great excitement and anticipation from those close to the game about who's going to get the coaching job or the coaching jobs in Ireland, because as you know from Badminton Ireland, they're looking for a singles coach and a doubles coach, which is fantastic news, Mark, isn't it?
Absolutely.
To have 2 coaches. We'll obviously talk about this in a second, so I'm going to start that with you and I'll ask you the thoughts and we'll take it from there. After that, this weekend, and that's why this Badminton Talk podcast is going out on Friday, who is going to get to the final in the Irish Open? Who do we think the finalists are going to be?
In the national...
in the national, sorry.
Irish Nationals
in
this
the
weekend.
Irish Nationals. Yeah. That's
an interesting one. There's some great matches ahead this weekend.
And I think the reason when we were talking about the content is because we've been in COVID for 2 years, and some of our younger players have got a little older.
Yes.
Some of our older players have got older again, but have got fitter. So it makes it very interesting to see what's our guess. What would Mark Topping, John, what would their predictions be, and what would the odds Paddy Parr might give on some of them? So we might have a little chat about that.
Absolutely.
Junior badminton, which is always top of our list here on the Badminton Talk podcast. We just want to round up what's been happening since the beginning of the year. There's been some very good events, and nice to see some players coming through to latter stages. So we'll try to give you a quick update on that and see can we spot anyone in that we might kind of have to keep our eye on in the future. And then finally, Mark, a tournament roundup. You know, what has been the main tournaments in January? We'll try and highlight a few of them. And
sounds good to me, John.
See what we think. It's the idea is, you can listen to the Badminton Talk podcast and hopefully you get a little bit of good quality content. Thanks to, of course, the Q Shuttle, and thanks to all our listeners wherever you're listening. If you're listening to the Badminton Talk podcast on Spotify or on Apple or Google or our own platform, which is Speakra, you can distribute it all over the world. So hello to everybody else. So, Mark, who is going to get the coaching job? I mean, Badminton Ireland have been really doing an excellent job on putting together the qualifications for these two really, really important roles. And we're into a new year. We're I suppose into the run up to the next Olympics now. It starts, doesn't it? It's always like a 3-year to 2024. It's actually it's going to come quicker, 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. And then of course trying to get a sense of who's going to be the doubles, who's going to be focusing what disciplines. So let's begin with singles, Mark. Who'd be a good singles coach?
Oh, gosh.
Who do we think? Well, what do you think?
Yeah.
Who would be and what do you think?
Well, first of all,
or do you have any inside knowledge, Mark?
I have absolutely
because I have no knowledge.
No,
I have little tidbits, so I might share them in a minute.
But you would probably know.
They're little crumbs. They're breadcrumbs at the moment.
You would know better than me. I'm not really I don't keep really in touch with the elite badminton scene. I watch and I'm fascinated to see the results and the rise and fall of countries and absolutely. I think Ireland is on a rise. The last 3 or 4 years is a real tribute to the long-term planning at Badminton Ireland, at the high performance squad. That Sport Ireland are backing plans. I don't think we've ever had 2 coaches before, so that's a real.
Yes.
Let's first of all acknowledge all the hard work that has gone into this in the last 3, 4, 5 years to persuade Sport Ireland to finance 2 coaches. So that's
well, Mark, we better do this then. Okay.
Yeah. Go on.
There we go. You wanted that. You were looking for that nice sounding applause, but fully deserved to Badminton Ireland for that. Yes.
I've been around a long time and I've seen times when Badminton Ireland have been lacking plans and money, and so it is good to see Badminton Ireland rising, and it's going to be crucial to get the right coaches because we have, particularly in Nat, an outstanding prospect possibly over the next 2 Olympic cycles. Could Nat push on towards a medal? I'd say that is in the plan. So it's going to be crucial who is going to be the singles coach certainly from Nat's perspective.
Yes.
At the moment, I think there is a Malaysian guy, Iskandar, who I hear doing very good work.
That has
put
been
his hat in.
Yes, I think that's one of the rumours
Right.
that's coming out, and I do believe the players really love his style of coaching. And
what is his style of coaching?
Well, his style really is. There's an element. There's hard work, but it's an element of fun as well.
Okay.
He likes to have a little fun and engagement with the players, and he does give a lot of encouragement, which is great to see. I mean, there's a very young group of talented players in the academy. The boys and the girls. And, they're still young. So, encouragement at that young age means a lot to them. And I think he's a young enough guy himself. Like, I mean, he pretty nearly beat Nat there when they were doing the exhibition match pre-Rio. But quality and Nat always just about got in the door. But wow, So he's
He'd be a good sparring.
he would be super sparring, and so we know that his level of game today. Not only is he a good coach, but he's able to play at that high level, which I think is almost a bonus to have for a coach. So he's young. So I think to any 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, someone that's just, in their 30s, they're not too old, if that makes sense. They relate more. It's not saying you can't be coached by, someone older than that. Of course you can. But I think that will make a difference. And I think he has high energy. He's high energy.
Yeah.
I see him scootering down in his scooter down the NIA like a typical Gen Z cool kid in, one of those digital lights in a real centennial,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
all right. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, I do, John. I do.
Okay.
I've been with you long enough.
I don't think I could ever see you in an electric scooter, Mark,
Oh, I don't know. I think you could one day. Yeah,
oh, right.
absolutely.
Okay. I will hold you to that. Yeah. Well, maybe I could. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I suppose from Badminton Ireland's perspective, they're really trying to encourage as many people from around the world. Maybe somebody from Denmark, England.
Yes.
Indonesian coaches are world renowned. What about Chinese coach?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be interesting.
there's a lot of China is a lot of people living in China moving over to the Western world. They see the quality of life much better, and the opportunities. And China has been going through a tough time of late. So. With the size of population, it wouldn't be, you would have thought, too difficult to try to identify somebody with that kind of skill set. And I think the main thing is to understand that Ireland's not a cheap place to live in, though, Mark.
Well, I think
that's
is
the key thing.
One of the problems is that Badminton Ireland have to attract people. They probably are going to have to pay substantial salary because the cost of living in Dublin is so high. For that probably does exclude a lot of talented people when they look at the financials.
Yeah, well, I think if you look at bottom line, if you look at daft.ie or myhome.ie, like the average, we're talking average, Mark, it's €2,000 for about a month, So if you kind of take that by 12 months, it's about 25,000, 20 to 25 for your accommodation.
Yeah, so if you're looking at, I think the financial people, advisors would say maybe a third of your income would go on rent or mortgage or your to find a place to live. So you're looking at a salary of 75,000, 80,000 really to attract the real top caliber, maybe even 100,000.
Well, I think if you're looking,
I have no idea what Sport Ireland would pay or what Badminton Ireland would pay. Probably isn't anywhere as competitive as that.
Yeah, maybe there might be some synergies with somebody coming over, so they wouldn't need to be. That wouldn't be perhaps the deciding point. It might be a little bit less. The location in Ireland, the long-term prospects, maybe bringing family over, and I would hope if the coach does come, whoever that coach is, and hopefully. He or she would stay more than just a short time. I think we've had some coaches in the past and they've been excellent coaches, but we've kind of gone through a few coaches quite quickly. And I'm sure I don't know the ins and outs, Mark. There's probably really good reasons, As they say, there's always another side to the story. And so this time it would be nice so they get to know the players a little more. I do recall in the days of Irwin Saya, when he was there, it was really when my own kids were starting off in, I think, around 2014, 15 in the academy over in Marino. We started to get to know him, and he was, he was just fantastic for the players. It was a great.
He was a real loss.
He was a real loss, yeah. I was going to say it was a great decision by Badminton to have got him in the first place, and he was a real loss, and he's gone on to do such wonderful things. But again, I'm sure there's reasons why it happened. But he, having him there for a few seasons certainly made a difference. Back then,
just shows you the power of a really good coach.
Yeah,
a renowned coach can have such a positive effect on players.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what good coaches do. They build...
Ray Stevens had it with you, Mark.
Yeah, they build really good relationships with their players. It's people buy people, don't they, John?
They do, yeah.
And if you buy into your coach and you like your coach and you enjoy what your coach is doing, and I think it's a two-way process.
It's a two-way.
The coach has to buy into the player as well.
Yeah, well, I think when you're running an academy, when you come in a position academy, you're not just going to manage one player. You're going to be managing many of those singles players. Yes, you'll have your top elite singles players, then you'll have the next ones coming up in line, and so they may end up being really 6-7 really good singles players, and then the next level down. So the coach has to embrace them all. He really has to embrace them all. So everyone's improving.
I think didn't Alex Ferguson say in one of his autobiography books, you need to find what makes your player tick. You cannot apply a blanket policy, the same policy for every player. You've got to tailor things individually. Yes. You've got to get to know your player, and it does take time. It takes a year or two.
That's the psychology behind it, Mark.
Yeah,
the psychology behind a coach and understanding. Everyone perhaps reacts and can be motivated slightly differently. And if you can get the best out of the players by understanding that, good God, you'll go a long way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What motivated you most, Mark?
What motivated me?
Yeah, when you had a coach, what was it?
That's a good question.
I know you were self-motivated, but I mean, in looking for a coach,
in a coaching,
coaches, yeah.
I was going to say I hated losing. And every time I lost, I tried.
Would the coach remind you?
No. It was my own self-motivation. What was I looking for in a coach? I looked for something for a different perspective.
Yeah.
I enjoyed a coach who came from a completely different background or looked at things in a different way, and I could debate with him.
Yeah.
I came with my own background and a desire to win and wanting to win, and why aren't I winning? And help me. And possibly I wasn't thinking straight, but I enjoyed the debate or just fresh ideas.
I think that's the thing. A coach coming in with ideas, something a little different, something different, better. I think that really does breathes in fresh air. And I think with Iskander, for example, it's one name. I'm sure there's other names. There is that bit of freshness. There's a bit of fun. There's a bit of really hard work and like he was, you'd have things like if you lose a point, you have to do burpees and you have to do, shout out funny things. Well, it is to the others watching, Mark, so then it makes sure you work harder. You see, the incentive is there.
Yeah.
So we're here on the Badminton Talk podcast, and of course, sponsored by the Q Shuttle. Today is the 4th of February. Mark, doubles coach then.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
So that's second assignment.
Second assignment, yeah.
Thoughts on
really
that?
Good.
Who might make a good doubles coach?
Yeah, I think England and Denmark are well known. Depends. I suppose you could break doubles down into men's doubles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles if you're looking to concentrate. Yes. The English have a great reputation in mixed. So maybe you want to bring an English coach in. Danish coaches are brilliant, superb. They're world-renowned nation for producing brilliant coaches, very technical.
Would they be looking for a lot of? Would they be looking for a lot of money, though, Mark?
They would. Absolutely.
Again,
it's a very specialised job.
You pay for what you get, probably to a point.
Again, I have absolutely no idea what budgets are there.
Would you be better?
Probably from history, we've always struggled with money and attracting. So possibly hasn't changed, but maybe Sport Ireland are seeing that they need to fund and they need to get talent. Talent is rare. Really good coaches. There might be a few English coaches. There's a lot of what's the best word to describe English badminton at the minute? I've heard rumours that some coaches won't coach certain players and certain players won't be coached by So there's a bit of turmoil going on in English badminton. Maybe there's an opportunity there to bring in an English coach.
Yeah, that's true. So on one side of the kind of the CV file will be international prospects. And what about the other side, Mark? Any Irish prospects, do you think? Because if you take the point about accommodation and money and that, if you had someone in Ireland, if there was someone of the calibre for that, perhaps, that might be absorbed a little bit by the fact they're living in Ireland already. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, obviously the high-profile candidate there would be Sam McGee.
Yes,
He has just recently qualified. It's a difficult transition to go from a player to coaching. You probably do need, in my view, from my own experience, you probably do need 2 or 3 years learning your trade. But maybe this is Badminton Ireland might be interested in getting Sam on board and going through that 2 or 3 year process with Sam to develop his coaching skills.
Yes.
But yeah.
I
suppose the big advantage Sam has is a relatively young man and would be good sparring.
Yes.
He would be able to offer sparring.
Yeah.
A lot of good advice.
I certainly know Mark from what I'd hear. He's very well liked, in the academy. He's very well respected.
Yes.
And I think in anyone that goes for a job, if you get respect, that's huge. That I'm around the game, so I hear a lot of stuff that goes on at times. Some of it is rubbish, and some of it is good stuff, and we've all got to filter it. And certainly, it's good stuff with Sam. But whether he'd want to put his name forward or not, we don't know. In some ways, we might be lucky to have him because he's as you say, he's very young, very experienced. He's been there with Chloe for well over a decade at the top level, and he would probably be popular in other countries too if they were looking for a coach. But as you say, he has to begin his maiden voyage, and is it better in Ireland or is it better across seas? That's the question.
Real long term, you could make a case for Sam going off to Denmark or to another country for 2 years and learning different perspectives and and come back to Ireland in 2 years' time. You could make a good argument, but who knows how Badminton Ireland are going to approach it? Only time will tell. It'll be fascinating to watch it all unfold.
Yeah. So if anybody knows, send us a post on our Facebook. Who is going to be the next coach? Singles and doubles. Yeah, and we give you a Q shuttle if you get the right answer.
Did we agree that? That's very generous.
I said a shuttlecock.
Oh, okay, one. Okay,
yeah,
all right, John.
A Q silver for the singles, and a Q for the doubles, and a Q silver for the singles, because
Okay.
I don't know why. It's to make it different.
You're just making this up.
Well, we're here on the Badminton Talk podcast, which is live when we're recording this. It's unedited.
I know.
Warts and all go out. So if God knows what could happen today, which is Thursday the 3rd. We're going to move quickly on because obviously we're keeping an eye on the time. With 20 minutes ago, we still have 3 more questions to answer. Who's going to get to the Irish Open final? So I'm going to open the file. The Irish Senior National Final. Mark is correcting me again. That's very good. Rank 1, 2, 3, 4 is Nat, Johnny, Jack, and Sean. And I had heard, whether it's true or not, Nat has an injury and will have to pull out or has pulled out. So let's work on that assumption. I'm not sure it's true, but it's what I heard. Yeah,
well, actually, that's a good point. And Nat did extremely well on the Indian leg of the BWF. He reached a quarter-final of the BWF 500 Indian Open. And a week later, he got to the semi-final of the BWF 300. And I did notice as he was playing against the French man in the semi-finals, he did seem to be struggling slightly with an injury.
Right.
And so I think you could be right, John.
Yeah.
He may want to give his body a rest this weekend coming, but I suppose again, time will tell.
Time will tell. So, Mark, you're kind of slipping into my third question there, the tournament roundup. Let's just stay with the question on the please, because of the timing. We can come back to that in a second. We can skip.
I thought they were sort of kind of related.
Well, they are, of course. Well, it's always nice to give Nat an extra mention because he does deserve it. He works so hard, and he's really doing great stuff for Irish badminton all around the world. But quickly, Mark, so if we look at the draw, the kind of top half, I suppose the bottom half, Johnny Dolan's probably looking like the finalist there. Would that be, you go with that?
I would.
I mean, I
don't
want
Johnny Dolan.
I know Matthew Chung will give him a good round, but we're just Paddy Parr here and we're putting our money on. So and
there's some nice
Vincent Pontanoza and David Walsh and Jack O'Brien there's a few players there. So pick one out then.
Johnny Dolan. To come through in the semi-final. I think the other semi-final. I'm going to go probably David Walsh. Although there's some good ones there. Vincent Pontanoza is playing very well at the moment. So
now, Mark, are you looking at the bottom draw or the top half of the draw?
I'm looking at the bottom half.
Okay, so you're going to go David Walsh and you're going to go Johnny Dolan. Sorry,
in the semi-final.
And in terms of the top half,
well, if Nat has pulled out,
let's assume if he doesn't, obviously Nat's in.
I think if Nat is healthy and plays, obviously,
Nat's going to.
You would almost bet your house on him winning the tournament.
I would certainly put a fiver on whatever odds you give me, Mark. Okay?
I'd only give you one.
Right, okay.
One on.
Oh, thanks, Mark. You're a hero. Yeah, and then he gets injured and you get the money. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I get it. Right, Mark.
Yeah. So we'll assume Nat's out. So that's always
it's quite open to draw, isn't it?
When a dominant number one seed drops out, it does open up possibilities and opportunities for young players to make a name for themselves and get to the final. I mean, there's a couple of contenders there. I see Scott Kildare playing very well at the minute. Sean Patrick Loretta as the number 3-4 seed in that half.
Yeah, maybe him. Yeah,
would be probably the favourite to go to
would he beat? Would he beat Adam McAllister?
That is a good question.
Be either Adam or him. Maybe Mark would be.
Yeah, they would probably be the two favourites.
Yeah,
but there's some young ones there that could cause a shock. You never know.
Pick one now. Pick one, Mark. We've got to get through the whole lot.
Sean Patrick Loretta, Johnny Dolan final.
Right. I'm going to go with. I'm going to go, just to be a bit different, with Adam McAllister.
You're going Adam McAllister?
Yeah, I know he's been a little bit injured but late, but I'm going to, I'm going to give it a go.
And I reckon Johnny Dolan will win. If Nat is not.
Okay, we've heard that, Mark, on the Badminton Talk podcast, brought to you by, come on, give us a little jingle, the Q Shuttle, women's singles, Mark. 11 entries, Rachel number 1, Kate number 2, Orla number 3, Orla, the 1 and 2, there's only 2 seeds, so so Rachel and Kate. So, right, so if you look at the top half of the draw, who's got your eye on
Well,
that?
I think... you can't look past the number 1 seed, Rachel Dara.
Rachel Dara, yeah. I go with Rachel.
An internationally proven player, did very well in the recent Swedish Open.
Yes. We're going back into that tournament roundup again, Mark. I know. But okay, fair enough. She did. She got to the last 16, and so did Kate. So come on, they both did really well there. So they are deserving of their 1 and 2 spots. So we go with... so
I'm going Rachel Dara in the final.
I'm going to go with that too, Mark,
Yeah. In the bottom half, there's a lot of competition. This is hard to predict.
Yeah, a lot of good players there, Mark, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Kate Frost, the number 2 seed, is looking in good shape, training hard.
Michelle will give her a little game there, I fancy. Michelle's coming on. I mean, I would expect...
Michelle's 14.
Yeah,
15,
no, I would expect... No, I'd expect Kate to get over the line, but I think
Kate will have to be on her game.
She can't give her. She certainly has to kind of go through the process professionally as she will. But so I'll go with you that Kate will advance to the semis, and I'll let you call it on the other because I'd be biased if I was to make a call on any of them.
I would be considered biased as well because I have coached Sophia Noble for a long time. I would say it'll be between Sarah Boyle and Sophia Noble.
Sarah, tricky lefty.
Yeah, fast, quick, powerful.
Yeah, experienced.
Experienced. Yeah. But I'm going to go with Sophia. Sorry, Sarah, and I do appreciate your game, but I suppose I'm just biased at the moment. And I'm going to go Sophia, Kate Frost, semi-final. And in the semi-final...
Okay, now, Mark, you have to have
I'm going to go Sophia again.
I'm going to pick her out. Okay,
Yeah.
Kate won't be on
Sorry,
your Christmas
Kate.
card list
No,
there.
no.
I'll tell you the happens and there will be a different story, but we're just making
knows?
predictions. Yeah,
Who knows?
I mean, look, the best player will come through in the end, no matter what. This is. And Mark, just to ask you,
they're warriors, all of them. And
Yeah.
they're good fighters, and wish everybody the best.
Yeah, well,
we're just making fun predictions.
okay. Okay, well, it's all about who's getting to the final, so we've completed that.
Yeah.
We will move into... Right, we are back on, Mark.
We're back.
We're going to move from singles to... What will we go? What do you want to go next? Doubles or mixed?
Well, let's in order here.
Order.
Tournament software. I'm just looking at it.
Men's doubles
comes up next. So let's have a look. Number 1 seed Joshua McGee, Paul Reynolds.
Oh, yes.
And down at the bottom of the draw, number 2 seeds Declan Bennett, Sean Patrick Loretta. Yeah, I did have a good look at this last night.
Okay, so top half, Mark?
Top half looks,
wow.
Tasty,
yeah.
There's some tasty doubles
Definitely,
matches
my
there.
God. There's no messing mark in any of them.
Look at this. First round, Adam McAllister, David Walsh against Mark Brady and Daniel McGee. Awesome match.
My God, that's going to be...
Just below that is Jack O'Brien, Callum Thomas against...
The young guns.
The form horses.
Yes, yeah. No, absolutely. They're going to give it socks and all.
Jack O'Brien and Callum Thomas aren't going to go down easy.
No.
So some really... And then you've got another dark horse there, a pair... Brian O'Mahony and Daniel O'Mara, hitting big, strong, in good form. From
Lakewood, Badminton and Nina Academy Cell. There you go. Daniel O'Mara, the son of course, Michael O'Mara, who we had on the Badminton Talk podcast. Right, Mark?
But we need to take Joshua McGee and Paul Reynolds to come through that very tough-looking half.
Yeah.
Although some really good players there. Just Joshua and Paul.
Joshua and Paul.
International experience should come into the final there.
Yes.
Now, at the bottom half, this is interesting.
Right, Mark?
Your
money on?
I think I have been considering this, and I think I'm going to go Declan Bennett, Sean Patrick Loretta, which I'm...
Oh, but what are you going to do for this? Oh, for the semi-finals in that top. Sorry, you had Josh and Paul to play...
I put them through to the final.
Oh, you put them through... Okay, sorry, Mark. Let's move forward then.
No, we could. I'll make a prediction in the semi-final. It'll be Josh and Paul against... Ooh, tough one. I'm going Scott Gilday, Vincent Pontonosa.
The young ones.
Yes, I'm going. Just slightly on current form, I think. Scott Gilday and Vincent Pontonosa.
They've had a good.
Anybody could come through.
Yeah, we know. Okay, so on the bottom, Mark, you were just saying Declan Bennett and Sean to make the.
I think they'll make a semi.
They make a semi. Yeah, I think you're. It'll be...
There's another young gun pair, Matthew Chung and Dylan Noble, but possibly just maybe a year or two young, but you never know.
Yeah. The form might be Declan and Sean.
Declan's playing very well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and he's very imposing with his tall... Yeah. You know, he's like a wine. He's getting better as the years move on, and he's still a young bucko. He's a lovely guy.
He really has worked hard.
Doing a lot for Galway Lawn Tennis Club as well, so it's great to see the head coach. No messing. Maybe he could be the.
Maybe
he put us having what we could. Yeah, who knows? Declan. Yeah. Mark. So who from the other part then? Just give me one more semi. We'll move on because of the clock and.
Right. That is. I'm going to go Stuart McCollum, Tony Murphy.
Stuart McCollum, Tony Murphy. Yeah, I must say I was impressed with Stuart at the under-19s, particularly in his doubles. I thought he had improved an awful lot and was very, very close to the win. So I think that's a good call.
I'm going to go Declan Bennett, Sean Patrick Loretta to go to the final against Joshua McGee, Paul Reynolds, and I'm going to predict Joshua McGee and Paul Reynolds will win.
Yes.
You won't get very good odds.
No,
1 to 100. They're pretty nailed on to win, I think.
You're absolutely.
With their international experience.
Definitely, Mark. Yeah, I think you're right there, and they've had a couple of good wins internationally. Right, we're moving on to the ladies' doubles. We have the number 1 seed, Kate and Moya, and against Orla Flynn, I should say, Jenny King. So, top half, Mark? Is it straightforward? Is it?
Yeah,
they'll just get there, and
I think so.
Yeah.
Just they play more international tournaments than anybody else in the tournament. They're our current number one ladies doubles pair.
Yeah.
Kate Frost and Moya Ryan. I see them going to the final. Probably in the semi-final against Lauren Au and Fiona Farrell.
Yeah, Lauren Au and Fiona Farrell. Yes.
That's what I would predict.
Okay, and then on the other...
Yeah, Orla Flynn, Jenny King, strong pairing, number 2 seeds. Are
they Mampy pair? No.
Yeah.
South Dublin and Mampy. Yep.
Yeah, Jenny has joined South Dublin Badminton Club this year.
All right.
There's some good pairs there. I think probably Orla Flynn and Jenny King will come through.
Will come through. So we put Orla and Jenny to play against. We'll go against. Oh yeah, who would be the other?
I think I'm going to go Sophia Noble, Laura Coma against Orla Flynn and Jenny King in the semi-final. That's my prediction.
Okay, Mark. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the outcome of that is. The last one then we're going to pop in here. We are on the Badminton Talk podcast, of course, sponsored by the Q Shuttle, and we are at the stage where we're trying to make some predictions for the finalists in the Forza Irish Senior Nationals, which takes place, if you're listening to this, tomorrow. And if you've listened to it already, it might be yesterday, but mixed, Mark. We have the number 1 seeds, Daniel and Nessa Flynn, and the Declan Bennett and Lauren Au. I see that Rachel's not playing mixed. Normally Rachel would be the seeded with Paul Reynolds.
Yes.
So that partnership must be finished, must be, is it?
I don't know, John.
I just don't see it, that's all. Am I missing it?
No, they're not, haven't entered this particular tournament.
Okay.
It doesn't mean
no, it doesn't. No, maybe they're okay. So we'll just go by what we have. Let's stick to the knitting, as they say.
Yeah.
So top half of the draw is interesting, Mark, isn't it? There's Joshua with Moya. That's that could be strong, couldn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Jenny and Dan. Oof.
Yeah, that's a really.
Oh my God, Sophia and Scott. They're just throwing the names. There's some really good names.
The mixed doubles is a bit like the men's doubles.
Yeah.
Open. There's some great matches.
Well, with 7.5 minutes, Mark, left, we need to keep our motoring system going. Okay. We still have a few things to pack in. But so, what do you think?
Right. This is a tricky one. I think in that top half, I'm going to favour, just again on international experience, Joshua McGee and Moya Ryan to come through to the final out of that top half. But there is some really good pairs. Dan McGee, Jenny McGee will be really tough to get past. Scott Gilday, Sophia Noble will be really tough to get past. Also, Daniel O'Mara and Nessa Flynn, they're number 1 seeds for a reason. They're been doing well in tournaments. Daniel O'Mara hits it big. Nessa Flynn serving well. But I think at that top half, just that international pedigree, probably Joshua McGee and Moya Ryan will come through.
Right. Okay, that's Mark's predictions there. And the bottom half then?
Yeah, again.
This is
the form pair at the moment, Declan Bennett and Lauren Au.
Yeah, you're really
They won the Leinster Open and I think they won the Munster Open. So they are the form pair at the moment. So they could come through. Again, some tough games ahead. Probably going to predict a Declan Bennett, Lauren Au against Brian O'Mahony and Bethany Wong in the semi-final.
Okay.
And I'm going to go for Declan and Lauren to reach their first ever national final, which is a tremendous achievement for both of these players. They're really good if they can get there.
Yes.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of 3-setters.
Right.
And as you've often said in these competitions, 2 or 3 points would be the difference in the end in a match at 21-19 or 23-21.
Yeah, you only have to have
isn't it?
A funny 2 minutes and you can
lose of a run of a bad spell.
You can lose 4 or 5 points and you're set is gone, and but a lot of all these players are very experienced. So you probably, Declan Bennett and Laura now are probably moving into their absolute prime of their badminton. So I'm going to tip them to go to the final.
Okay.
In the final, yes, I think again probably that international experience with Joshua McGee and Moya Ryan may have the edge, but I wouldn't underestimate Declan Bennett and Laura now.
Yeah, don't underestimate them. No, absolutely. Great. Well, Mark, that's our predictions for the finals, and on a future podcast, we will check in on you on that.
Yeah, see if my predictions came true.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, we are almost out of time. We're going to have to really kind of whistle through the junior badminton, what's happening. The Connacht tournament proved to be a great, successful tournament there down by Micheál O'Marin, I think is his name. I might be pronouncing it. He does great work down there, and of course Angus was down there. We had the nationals down there, and yes, it was great to see some really top players there. Dylan won the medals across the events. We also saw Michelle winning lots of medals down there. Michelle Shoshin, she was really good, and Paige had a really good performance. Rory Comer, really good performance. Cara Loughlin, really a lot of the juniors playing very, very well, and also seeing some of the younger players coming through at under 13s. I should also acknowledge Pranav played very well in that tournament. Alan Doyle. So because of time, I'll skip into the under 19s, and the under 19s, which was played alongside the under 15s. Of course, Vincent beat Matthew in that final, and which was a shock. Dylan had a great semis with Matthew for 3 sets. That was really good. Matthew got there in the end as number 1 seed, and Sophia secured the titles in under 19 singles with Laura number 2, and played really well. Laura put in a really good match there. Scott and Vinny then got to the final in the men's, a tight set against Dylan and Matthew, two tight sets, so that was really good for Irish badminton, and seeing that. I think it was 22 20 in the second set, but Scott and Vinny kept it to 2. And then we had Scott and Sophia beat Laura and Stuart again, a really good final in the mixed doubles. And we have to acknowledge Senan O'Rourke and Orla Evans, who was the other semi-finalist. So was Adam Danes and Stuart McCollum, and Alan Doyle and Jack McIver in the boys' doubles. As indeed was in the girls' doubles, we had Nicole and Lauren Sophia won the event, and Samira Kotal and Aisling Murtha, a really good runner-up. Nessa and Julie and Chloe McGrain and Roisin were the others. And finally, I think in the singles, yes, Sophia, I think I mentioned that, and Laura and Nessa and Michelle were the runners-up there. So really, really good tournament. Boys under 15s, Andrew Hassett was the winner. Nicole Joy was the winner in the girls. Mixed doubles, Andrew and Nicole. In the boys' doubles, Ryan Macaulay and Zach Macaulay. And then finally, Nicole and Sarah Pender, really two nice partnership, beat Amber Buchanan and Kimberly Person. So next time we'll probably give a little more time on the juniors, but great to see them playing. And of course, we have the under-19s in Ulster coming on next month, which the juniors will be getting ready for that one again. So that's all to be played in March. So Mark, tournament from the seniors, we only have literally 30 seconds. You mentioned Nat. Any final comments on that? We're going to have to almost wind this up now.
Yeah, well, just good luck to all. I think there should be some great games out there, some really tasty matches. Might even see if I can pop out and watch a few. Entertained by some super badminton players that we have at the moment in Ireland.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you said earlier on, great performance by Nat at the Indian Open. That was fantastic. And also the Indian International 300. So that's the 500 and 300. Great performance by Paul and Josh on the getting to the quarterfinals of the. Yeah, well done, guys. The 500. And also Kate and Rachel to the quarterfinals of the Swedish. Mark, That was quick. We talked a lot about our predictions. We really had to put the brakes on there. I think we just about made it. What do you think?
Absolutely. We've done it, John. Another podcast in the can, as you would say.
Yeah, so as we sign out to this last 10-15 seconds mark, let's enjoy the Irish Senior Nationals.
Yes.
I'll hopefully see you up there.
Good luck, everyone.
Okay.